might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Good morning, everybody. Today is November 29th, 2023. We have 2 days left in November. And then we get into December, which will lead us into 2024. This year went by fast, but it was absolutely amazing. So if you do not know who I am Tech Coach Ralph. We are engineered to win. Let me get this up over here. Boom. Tech Coach Ralph right here, right? Engineer to win. This is the Koffee and Kata morning show where we go over some news stories and then we go into our coding challenges to get us ready for the day. You know, this is like the 4th week we're doing this now. And Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:15 a.m. Eastern time. And we have a grand old time doing it. So last night we had our Q&A stream. It was absolutely amazing. Great questions, great answers, great perspectives, and we had Don in the chat giving us his extensive $1 million knowledge as well. So I just wanted to, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. Then today we have coming out at noon, my top used Linux and terminal commands. And then tomorrow night's live stream, we're going to be like practicing those commands in a Docker container. So tons of things happening, tons of fun. So check it out. But we are here for the news real quick. So let's go and pull up our news articles and put the timer up. I'm going to put 5 minutes, but we might go for an additional 3 afterwards because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 articles to talk about today, right? So why not we just get right into it? And let's go to 5 minute up and show the timer as well. All right. So okay, cool. And we are going to start our timer and jump right into it. All right. So the first article is, what do early holiday sales tell us? Consumers feasted on holiday deals after their Thanksgiving feast. Black Friday online sales jumped 7.5% from last year to a record of $9.8 billion per Adobe, while sales on Cyber Monday surged at 9.6% from 2022 to a record $12.4 billion. Experts note the results reflect the strength of the U.S. consumer and the overall economy, but inflation fatigue could contribute to slower holiday sales growth this year, according to Moody's Investor Services. Holiday sales are expected to rise 1% to 3% this year. Millennials are the biggest spenders on Black Friday, shelling out $585 on average. About 137 million consumers, or nearly 53% of Americans, buy at least one item on Black Friday per Payments Intelligence data. All right. So with that being said, I keep hearing about how the economy is so hard and how people are struggling out there, but we still have room to spend billions and billions of dollars on stuff that we do not need. Did I buy anything on Black Friday? I sure did. But it was business expenses. It was to enhance the studio, to enhance the quality of my work, of my production, of my coaching, all of that. But it wasn't any money wasted. But it is what it is. But so many people, I don't want to hear any more of so many people saying,
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Because we can continue to spend, take on all these unnecessary bills, but then we are going to go online on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, and complain about the salaries, the jobs. We want to protest and strike. So I do not want to hear it. Let's move on. All right. The government also struggles with return to work. Large U.S. companies such as Amazon and JP Morgan Chase aren't the only major employers grappling with how to get workers back to the office. The federal government is struggling mightily with it too. The Wall Street Journal reports. It notes that a number of agencies, including the Security and Exchange Commission and the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, have shed or reduced their D.C. area office footprint once their leases were up. But the White House isn't giving up on return to work. In late summer, it instructed cabinet agencies to aggressively execute more in-person work this fall. Several government agencies are working together on a nationwide initiative to convert empty office buildings into much needed housing. The question is, who is that housing for? We can only imagine at this point, right? DC hit a record office vacancy rate of 20.3% in the third quarter per real estate service firm Cushman and Wakefield. Globally, office vacancies are at a record high per Statista, with North America at 21% now compared to 13% pre-pandemic. They're trying to get us back to the office, and some companies are going to be successful at it. Some companies might just have to go to the wayside. It just depends. Are you willing to adapt to the current trends? So we'll see. We shall see. All right, let's keep going. Amazon launches AI chatbot for work. Amazon has unveiled its much anticipated answer to ChatGPT and other rival AI assistants. Amazon Q, introduced Tuesday at the company's annual cloud computing conference, is specifically targeted at businesses with more emphasis on privacy and security than consumer-focused artificial intelligence tools. For a monthly price of $20 per user, Q can assist with tasks like summarizing internal documents and responding to employee questions about corporate policy. The company says it's an effort by Amazon to shake off the perception that it is lagging in the AI race, writes the New York Times. Watch out, folks. Amazon AWS is coming for you with Amazon Q. And I think that it can be a very productive thing. To be quite honest with you, it can be very, very productive. So we shall see how that goes. And then with companies who are heavily integrated with Amazon and with AWS, it should be an easy integration to add to it. I am going to be checking it. I'm going to be checking it out. Maybe tomorrow night, I will be checking out Amazon Q to see if it is available in the AWS console, how we can start to integrate with it. Why the heck not? So tune in. I know tomorrow is supposed to be about Linux and Docker and terminal commands, but sometimes we have to add or we have to pivot. We shall see. So let's find out what we're going to be doing tomorrow night. Are we going to be looking up Amazon Q? I'm going to see today if it's available for use, right? It might be coming soon. It might not be ready yet, but I'm going to take a look and maybe we'll do some exploration tomorrow about Amazon Q. All right. So let's move on to our next article. I'm going to add another 3 minutes on the timer, like I said. All right. Big banks battle for best AI talent, right? So many of you are afraid of AI, but the banks are battling for those AI talents. So what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to hide behind a rock, or are you going to level up and get into the AI game? The battle for talent well-versed in artificial intelligence is getting more fierce on Wall Street. The Goldman Sachs is getting squeezed, and Goldman Sachs is getting squeezed by its competition, Bloomberg reports, citing evident AI data. The figures show that Goldman experienced a net outflow of 60 people in the span of a year though a year through this September, the biggest loss among Wall Street heavyweights, and many of those workers were poached by rivals Morgan Stanley and Citigroup. By contrast, JP Morgan Chase, which Evident ranked as the most mature bank on AI, had a net influx of 101 AI related hires. Wells Fargo had the biggest annual net increase in AI talent through September of 130 new hires. So, AI is where it's at, folks. Like as DJ Khaled says, you either win with us or you watch us win. If you are not making the proper adjustments, the proper pivots, you will be on the outside looking in, and you will be one of the ones who are saying, "I'm in a bind, Nate." And I do not want to hear you say that. All right. So get it together, get into AI, start figuring out how to use these APIs, how to use OpenAI, how to use what's the BART, I think it's called for Google, whatever, just Bard, I think. Just get into the game, all right? Get into the game. All right, now let's go on to our last article for today. U.S. oil gas output hit records. Did I read that right? U.S. oil gas output to hit records? The U.S. will attend COP28 climate talks this week as it sets new records in the extraction of oil and gas. Really? That is very interesting. The federal government is forecasting a surge in the production of the fossil fuels this year, and output is projected to remain high until 2050. The summit opening Thursday in Dubai, meanwhile, is expected to agree to a phase out of the fuels to contain planet heating emissions. The Biden administration, while passing laws to incentivize clean energy production and curb gases, has also granted drilling leases on public land. The goal of preventing the Earth from warming more than 1.5 degrees Celsius is proving elusive. The transatlantic flight by Virgin Atlantic shows the ease with which fossil-derived aviation fuel can be replaced by sustainable material. And then we have, of course, the director of major partnerships at Fossil Fuel Non-Proliferation Treaty went on to talk about something about it, which I don't really care to read at this point. But what I find interesting about this is about 4 years ago now, it was, I am going to stop fossil fuels and all this type of stuff. And now when election season is coming up and people are doing poorly in the ratings and stuff like that, all of a sudden we have granted fossil fuel drilling, oil drilling, and now we are hitting output. We're hitting records of output. I remember not too long ago, gas prices were high. $3.50, $3.75 down here in South Florida. Now in the past few weeks, under $3, under $2.75. It must be election season right around the corner. All right, so that is our news articles for today. We are going to get to work on our Chaos Camp Challenge. We're going to keep pushing forward. Let me open up my pie chart. And we're going to put it right on the other side, right over here. And here we go. Cool. So we still have let's go check on our pull request while we're at it, right? So we have, okay, cool. So let's put, what time is it? Let's put 25 minutes on the clock. I'll do 20. We'll do 20 today, because our news took a little bit longer, and but I really wanted to get through those topics, and we'll just continue, right? So let's take a look at our pull request to see if it has even been acknowledged yet. All right. So we are going to right about here. All right. So here is the rock, paper, scissors challenge. There's two branches and there is a pull request open. And let's take a look at that pull request. Remember, I added the branch protection rules the other day, and there is nothing happening for us. So once we get that approved, and maybe tomorrow, I'll see if Dawn is available tomorrow night for us to review the pull request together to get some. Maybe we can do a live code review, right? Maybe we'll do live code review. Who knows, right? But we want to get our code reviewed, and then we want to get it merged into production. So that's what we're going to do. But for the time being, we can continue on our coding challenge. All right. So where did we get to? Let's see. Let's go over here. And we do not need this anymore. And we are going to do, so let's go to get branch, which we are learning in on Fridays through our Git challenges, right? Our learning Git branching. So we're going to do Git checkout. And remember, on this branch, we do not have the health check page, right? Because we'll need to merge that into main and then pull that from main, rebase or that I'm still working on getting familiar with the rebase. But we're going to, so once we get the add health check to main, then we're going to pull that into our challenge branch, right? And then we'll use that test. But we shall keep going. So we are all right. So we're on the right branch now. We have our rock, paper, scissors test. And where do we leave off? So testing that the application is up. This will change once we have our health check page. And now test rock as weapon. So send a valid response for each type of weapon. So we are going to have to create a matrix here so that we can say, so that we can know we're going to validate, right? So maybe that's what we'll do today. But we do have where we are. What are we validating? So we're testing as a weapon, and we're saying assert JSON your weapon. All right. So okay, we have that expectation going, right? So there's a couple of different ways that we can approach this, right? I would assume through the unit test, although there aren't unit tests here yet, right? But I would say through the unit test that we should be validating that the weapon that we send is the weapon that we're getting in response, right? But let's do that, right? So what we can do, because we can always add more tests, like we can add tests to say like specifically that when you are sending a rock, you're getting back a rock, you're getting back a 200 code, and then we can do that for paper, we can do that for scissors, right? But do we want to chain the assertions that, all right, if the computer responds this, then you validate that. I think that might be best served as a separate test, right? So these two tests together, I think is fine. So then we could always throw in like, let's say we copy this whole thing right here, right? And when you copy and paste code, you have to be careful that you are actually updating the necessary things, right? So let's say we go here, and we say test as test paper, right? And then we say paper, and we would want, so let's just go through refactor via, get all those to change for us. And then we get this one changed for us as well. Right, so we have all that, and then we say this is supposed to be paper. Oops, not like that. And this is paper. And you know what? Because I don't like writing the same thing over and over again. Maybe it's an OCD thing of mine, right? But what I'm gonna do is um, expected weapon, right? I'm gonna just go like this, paper. And then we can even externalize this a little more, right? But I want to go like that, and I want to go like that, and I want to go like that, right? Because I hate writing the same thing over and over again. It might just be me, right? But and then I'm gonna do the same thing for this one too, because I do not believe we should have to write repetitive code that are variables. Because now I can just come up and change it up here if the weapon wants to change. And probably even make a method out of it, which we'll consider. But for the time being, I'm just going to, I hate this, so I'm going to go like that, and I'm going to go like that, right? So now, let's give it a quick run, and then we shall go from there, and then we'll go into the matrix after that. Actually, no, we can throw in scissors as well, right? But let's give it a quick run, see what happens. Well, the application's not up. Right? Of course. But that does mean that our first test is going to work successfully, although it's going to fail, right? But so we got to open up Docker. I'm not going to start it up on Terraform right now because then I have to do all the stuff for Terraform, but we're just going to go ahead and start it up in Docker. Where containers. I'm using the Docker desktop right now because I should be able to get it real quick. But as you can see, because our Docker container is not up, then that is why that's why we're not getting any results right now, right? So let's stop this and we're going to run it over again. Where are we sending our request to? Okay, so this is currently going to the when we're using AWS. So let's change that to localhost, and let's give it a run. Boom, there we go. All of them pass. So now, because I like to run my test as soon as I make additional changes, run them often, right? Run them often, because as soon as you see a failure, Control Z is your bestest of friends. All right. So let's go here, and we're gonna say test scissor as weapon, and then we're gonna say scissor, and that's all. So this is all I have to change here, and then I'm gonna come in here, and I'm going to say scissor, and then here scissor. Oops. All right, cool. Oh no, I didn't update it for me. All right, there we go. And then cool. All right, so now if we run it again, this time it should also pass. Boom, we have 4 passing tests, just what we wanted, all right? But now we need to test these. So if we go back over to Chaos Camp. So we have taken care of this. So let's do an invalid choice real quick, right? We're just going down the list, right? So we are going to take let's just take this one and let's go to here and we're going to say test. Let's call this a what weapon would we want to use? Axe as weapon. And we're going to say axe. Now our status code should be, according to the documentation, should be 400, right? And we could actually put in, whatever. Um, actually, this is what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna make this even better. So we are doing, what could I call this? What would I call this? Package. I would say, let's call it utils for now, right? You can always change that. And inside of utils, I am going to add a new Python file, status codes. And inside of status codes, I am going to say, invalid request. And I can update this based on the response error that we get, right? And we go here and we're going to say accept. All right. So if we do that, oh my God, we have my homie in the chat. Andrew said, let me move this so we can see clearly what Andrew says. He said, there we go. Said, I don't know if you have said this already, but you can make a weapon. You can make expect the weapon a function and make rock, paper, scissors a passable parameter. I didn't say that specifically, but I did say that we can probably turn that into a function. And what I'm gonna do is, after we get like the basic code working, then we're gonna refactor it, and we'll have our test available. That as we refactor, we run it, and if anything fails, we can troubleshoot right then on the spot and revert and everything like that. Instead of doing like all the code first and then try to run it. So that's what. Oh no, it's not showing the whole thing. Hold on. Yeah, so that's the plan. But yeah, you are totally right. Totally agreed with that. Right, and that's the approach that we are going to take. Perfect. Thank you so much, Andrew, for the comment, and thank you for being here as always. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to externalize my status codes, and I'm going to say up here, I am going to import right, and now I am going to say in here, invalid response. Let's see. Hold on a second. Invalid. Oh, invalid request. And import. that's how I want it. But whatever, we'll figure that out. But the premise is to have the status. So you have the status codes here, but I'll fix that later, right? But that's just the idea of what we're working towards. And then I could go here, and then we are good. So whatever, no big deal, right? So we're gonna say this is going to be an ax, and then we're going to refactor this, change this to be okay. That. And the name of your variables and your functions and all that, super, super important, right? Because you want to be able to, you want to be able to see, like, easily read the code. Like, I don't have many comments in here, right? But I can easily read through my code, and that is what is most important. So let's give it a run. I know this part is going to fail, but I want to see what the error messages that I'm going to get before I, before we do anything else. And I don't even know if, let me see here. Expected weapon. See, this isn't gonna actually show us the error. I would say just do the. Let's do this, right? Let's do a try. All right, let's try this real quick. Try. And then here. And then accept. Insertion error. And let's do a invalid response dot text. And I want to do, actually, no, let's just print the JSON actually. Oops. Page up. I want to print out the JSON. Let's see if that works. And we want to print that out. All right, let's see if that works. I don't know. So access weapon failed, and let's see, where did it fail at? Invalid request. You took, oh, okay. So I have an issue here. Utils has no attribute invalid request. Let me see something. Utils, oops. Utils dot. All right, let's do it like that. Actually, let's do a. I do it that way. From utils import. Can I do that? Let's see. Huh. All right. So if we go back down over here,
Lunch break. Lunch break.
let's see if that, okay, there we go. So, and let's just wrap this up real quick. Now let's run it one more time. It still failed, but it should get us a lot further this time, right? So, okay, so the status code is actually 422, right? But according to the documentation, the API error would be a 400 for an invalid weapon, right? So now let's do a check real quick, right? 422 status code. So unprocessable entity occurs when a request to the API cannot be processed. And let's see what a 400 is. Bad request status codes indicate the server couldn't process the request due to a client error. Malform request, syntax, invalid request messaging frame, or deceptive request routing. So what we can do is we can open up an issue with our good friend Don, and say, hey, the documentation says 400, but the status code that we're getting is 422. What gives? Which one is it? Right? But in order to let me see. For requests. So we'll do on Friday, we're going to open up an issue to ask this question, right? But for the time being, we're just going to do a 422 real quick, just so we can get to our error message. Oh, we got to run this one. So we can get to our error message, right? Still fails, but it's a key error. So let's change this to key error real quick. And let's run it again. And this is the error, right? Input should be 1, 2, or 3. Let's do a pprint on it. Import pprint. Pprint, the P is for pretty print, and it's how it's going to, so you'll see real quick, right? So if we go here, so because I did the try except, that's why it's showing it's passing, although it's not, but it is coming in as here. So we also need a better error message, right? So what we'll do on Friday, we will create a defect report like we did last time, asking to have a better error message, right? Because input should be 1, 2, or 3. Doesn't make much sense. We understand what it is because last time we saw a similar error message about the enum stuff, but you can customize the error messages. Jesus Christ. Over here, right? So I did a pprint on it, right? And you should, so this is the error that we're getting. And we need better, clearer error messages as QA engineers who help in integrating with the application, with our APIs. We're going to want a better error message in that, right? So on Friday morning, we will open up an issue on the GitHub like we did last time, and we're going to say, first and foremost, is the proper error code supposed to be 400 or 422, right? Based on our research, 400 means this, 422 means that, and then the actual body, right? We want just a clear error message, right? Saying the options that you can pass for play is either rock, paper, or scissors, right? And then the input that you passed, and you can say axe, is not a valid choice, right? So that's what we're going to do. But that is it for now. Right now, I'm going to go change this back to 422 or to 400 based on what the documentation says, and we will go from there, all right? So let's go back to our full screen. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you found this informative. Hopefully you found this helpful. Thank you, Andrew, for your amazing insight as always. And trust me, we will be refactoring this into a function to make it very simple, reusable. I absolutely despise reusable code. If anyone ever saw Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, when that was Will Ferrell in there, right? The one who was the first assassin. And when they ask him the question 3 times and he's like, oh, I can't take it. I can't stand being asked a question 3 times. That's how I feel about repeatable code. I do not like to see I don't like to see the same code over and over and over again. So I always try to see, how can I refactor it? How can I make it better? You know, whatever you do, whatever you touch, leave it 1% better, right? Leave it 0.5% better. Just leave it better, right? If your hands touch it, make sure it's better when you leave it. All right. With that being said, check out the video coming out at noon today. It's premiering at noon, where it talks about the top terminal and Linux commands that I use. And tomorrow we are going live. We're going to be investigating Amazon Q. I don't know. We might see if it's available. I'll check today if it's available. We might do that. If not, then we'll definitely be doing we're going to use Docker to practice some Linux commands, which is very, very important, right? Very important. So we'll look into that. I will see you later. Have a great, wonderful day. And Andrew, you have a great day. I will be talking to you soon. But until next time, friends, families, tech barbarians, tech savages, all of you wonderful people, have a beautiful Wednesday on November 29th, 2023. Let's go out there and get after it.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.